My name is Mike Nugent. I'm the president of the Montana Regional MLS. With me today are Ruth Hackney, who's the COO of the Montana Regional MLS, and Brent Wahlberg, who's the current treasurer of the Montana Regional MLS. And we are here just giving a little bit of a wrap up to the meeting we had with the members of the Bitterroot Valley Board of Realtors today to discuss the Montana Regional MLS and kind of who we are and what we're looking to do. So I will let Ruth and Brent kind of chime in on what we talked about.
Okay, so what we opened with was kind of what started the regional MLS, and these talks started about a year and a half ago roughly when Mike and another member from the Northwest Association met at, the meeting wasn't intended, it was just a casual conversation that then kind of morphed into the two boards hiring a consultant and having some strategic meetings. And from there, about this time last year, Regional MLS was formed. We went live with it just this February, the 22nd of February, and so far it's been working out good. Like we mentioned in the meetings, there's been a few bumps in the road, but nothing that we haven't been able to overcome or work through. So far things have been pretty good. The design of this Regional MLS, when we created it, was just something for Missoula and the Northwest Association. And what we decided at that point was if we can make something that works where it's just the two of us, that's great. And of course, once we got it up and going, interest had come up to us from the Bitterroot Valley Board. And so we're down here discussing that and trying to help answer as many questions as possible to see if it's something that might be considered. Yep. So as it stands right now, I think a lot of people are aware from updates from your president and from your leadership is that an offer has been made and there's been some talks back. We spoke for, about an hour or so roughly, and answered quite a few questions. And basically, I think a couple of the main questions, Mike, maybe you could speak on a few that we had. So there was a question about fines.
The goal is to have the most accurate and comprehensive data for an MLS that we can have. So we don't envision there being a quote-unquote fine culture because we've put a few things in place, like for instance a data checker that will actually check the listings as they go live to let the agent correct themselves before they potentially would get a fine, and we think that's going to kind of stem a lot of that. So we don't foresee fines being a major issue, and to clarify, there's never a budget item or a quota where we need to get X number of fines before we get anywhere, so fines are not something we foresee.
Yep. Another big question that did come up was about lockboxes. Ruth, what do we have to say about that?
So Missoula now provides lockboxes to Bitterroot agents who want that service, and we plan on continuing that for those who are interested. The little different policy has taken place now. If your broker opts in, all the agents will pay for the key card, but that means that they have access to the lockboxes in our system and the electronic, all the electronic benefits that come with that. So it's still up to the broker whether or not you use that central lock system, but it is open to all of our Bitterroot Valley neighbors as well.
And that is something that's separate from the MLS. So the Missoula lockboxes don't automatically come with BVBOR if they decided to join this MLS. That's a separate conversation, but a benefit that is out there is maybe a possibility down the road.
Another question that we had was just kind of the structure and how the operations work, and what we have currently is both the Northwest Association and the Missoula Organization of Realtors provide the staff for the MLS. Tia Robin is the Chief Executive Officer and Ruth is the COO. All bookkeeping and financials are handled by Sonia with the Missoula office, and then we have Derek Close with the Northwest who handles all the tech side as well too. So right now the MLS itself is an LLC entity, and basically all the MLS operations and funds and expenses are handled by that, and then the funds then are delivered back down to each association.
LLC will basically just operate as a pass-through organization. So the money comes into the MLS, it pays all of its associated expenses, and then is paid back in dividends. So there won't be staffing or anything that's associated with that MLS at this point.
And those dividends are based upon your percentage of ownership in the MLS.
So maybe we'll wrap up this quick update with just a little bit of why. We'll each kind of talk about why we think this is a good idea. As I said in the beginning, if we're not successful in merging the Bitterroot MLS with this Montana Regional MLS, that's fine. We're no worse off, and I think it's healthy for us all to have this conversation because we have, I believe, 117 members who pay double fees to be in both right now. So I think we owe it to them to at least have this conversation. We feel strongly that if you look at national trends and kind of what's going on in the real estate world and the real estate data world anyway, that the smaller the MLS is, the more in danger it is of becoming extinct. And the reality is that every MLS in the state of Montana is small by national standards. So we feel that by grouping as much of the data and as much of the members together in a realtor-run MLS, we stand the best chance to kind of remain viable and in control of our own information and our own work product that's governed by the Realtor Code of Ethics, that's managed by realtors, because we think that's better than a third party doing it.
So I think one thing that I find really valuable and important is the data. We have gray areas on both of our sides between us and the Northwest and Missoula and Missoula and the Bitterroot. And there are listings in both areas that are on one MLS and not the other. So that doesn't provide consumers with good data, and it doesn't provide agents with good data. The bigger we are, the more we can serve our clients and the consumer in the long run, and that's really the ultimate goal.
All right, well, they stole my two reasons. But one thing we did mention as well, too, of course, the added staff, is that as an MLS member with the regional, I now have full access to a full-time tech support staff member in Derek with the Northwest, and also now CalSpell members, we have the accounting and bookkeeping measures, so we're also able to share some staff duties and things like that. The size of our MLS has also lowered a lot of operating costs for the scale of our multiple listing service, so I think we've been able to see some cost-saving benefits there too. I think one great thing that we can close with is the other question, and Mike, I'll have you close with it, is is this regional MLS doing this to come take over the region down here?
No, we've gotten that a lot, and we've tried to answer it. First of all, I think we stressed at the membership meeting today, and we'll stress again right now, that I think it's in both associations' best interest to have continued independent representation of our members. I think that Missoula members are represented well by the Missoula Organization of Realtors. I think Bitterroot Valley members are absolutely represented well by the Bitterroot Valley Board of Realtors. And so it is our opinion, the three of us, that maintaining a strong Bitterroot Valley Board of Realtors makes a lot of sense. We're more interested in seeing if we can't kind of group the data and group that part of our business together to kind of enhance realtors as the voice of real estate in Western Montana and Montana in general, because we think we're better together than we are apart.
Absolutely.